Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uli and this is going to be my fourth video of a 5-part mini-series of the 5 steps that I'm taking to naturally heal my skin from eczema and atopic dermatitis and generally just to be a little bit healthier. So this fourth video is going to be about cleansing and detoxing. Now before I start this video, I just want to very strongly caveat that I am not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor. Everything I'm talking about is from my own research, from my own experience. I am, however, a scientist, kind of. I have a degree in a science and I believe in evidence-based science. Having said this, I do think that we have huge gaps in our medical knowledge, especially when it comes to eczema and other chronic modern lifestyle illnesses. So I'm very open to kind of considering other alternative theories and that kind of thing. Talking about detoxing, so detoxing is very interesting because it sort of divides people a lot. A lot of scientists say that the whole detox in the way that it's being marketed at the moment is completely fake and that a lot of pseudoscience exists around detoxing, and that is absolutely true. Detoxing is a real medical phenomenon. It does happen in your body. Basically, your body is exposed to lots of different toxins and lots of different chemicals, and it's very sophisticated in the way that it recognizes what's harmful and what's useful, and it does all sorts of different reactions to get rid of the ones that it doesn't want and keep the ones that it does want. And it does this through your liver, your kidneys, your GI tract, so that's your gastrointestinal tract, and your lymphatic system and your skin as well. So the way that I'm doing detoxing and cleansing, I'm not doing anything actively where I've got to clean out all the toxins in my body that's been accumulating there. I am definitely open to these kind of things. You know, I've done a colon cleanse, I've done all these kind of things because I'm just open to seeing what works and what doesn't work. A lot of people can get quite freaked out when you talk about toxins because it sounds like a very horrible word, but I think you need to realize that your body detoxes on its own every single day very efficiently, very well, unless you have obviously like liver disease or something. A lot of products, what they'll do, they'll make you feel like everything gets backed up in your liver and everything gets backed up in your kidneys and all these kind of things, and that just shows the sort of lack of knowledge of basic human anatomy and physiology. It's not like a sponge that you need to wring out every now and again. It doesn't work like that. When I say detoxification, I just mean that I do as much as I can to not burden my kidneys and my liver and my entire body, all the cells in my body, with all these things that could potentially cause harm, which is essentially what toxins do. They cause harm to the cells in your body. And you just want to make sure that firstly, that you're not exposed to as much of that as possible, and secondly, that your body doesn't have to work so hard to get rid of it all, because ultimately that is gonna have a long-term effect, whether you have a skin problem or not. The first main thing that I do for my own detoxification is that I don't toxify my body as much as possible. I do as much as I can to reduce the exposure that I have to things that I know are harmful. So, for example, I do not smoke. Smoking is poisonous. We don't need to go into why, it just is, it's a fact. Alcohol is very bad for your body. Yes, your body can tolerate alcohol well in small amounts. Again, your liver is very good at processing it and getting rid of it quickly. Too much alcohol, on the other hand, is a burden, is poisonous, it's not good for you. So I just don't really drink. Then I get onto the things that are sort of less obvious. So the things that I eat, the things that I'm surrounded by day to day. By that I mean I try to eat as much organic as possible, because I try to avoid eating as many herbicides, pesticides, these kind of things. The science has showed that they are perfectly well tolerated, but again, like I said, we have all these strange chronic autoimmune illnesses in these past 100 years, and that's kind of grown in parallel to the increased amount of exposure and ingestion of chemicals. So again, I think there's a gap in research there, or a gap in knowledge, I don't really know, but as much as I can, I try to eat organic. This was a lot easier in France actually, because they have supermarket chains that are completely dedicated to organic food, which is amazing. But here in the UK, or at least where I am in London, it's a lot harder to get hold of. But anyway, so on top of eating organic, I don't eat any processed foods at all whatsoever, because processed foods have got lots of preservatives, lots of E numbers, lots of weird things like that. I personally don't believe that the human body is made to take in these kind of substances, and they are not good for your health. So I don't eat those. In terms of the products I use, I've talked about this in my topical management video. I try not to use products that have a lot of chemicals and a lot of synthetic substances in them. I have a very clever app that basically it analyzes the ingredients of things and just links to like scientific papers and these kind of things. So I'll either use stuff that's completely natural, so completely natural oils or other whatever, depends on what the product is, or I buy things that have only completely natural ingredients, and I'll be very careful about that. Then we've also got toxins coming from the air and the water. These are obviously a lot harder to avoid, especially if you're like me, I live in the city, but I definitely notice that when I go out to the countryside or somewhere like that, my skin and my general health just does seem to improve. But there are things that you can do there as well, so I try not to walk in such busy streets. I always try to walk in side streets. I never drink tap water, I always drink filtered water. So like I said before, the whole point is that I try to reduce the exposure that I have to toxins in the first place. Now the second thing that I want to talk about, and this is the second element to my detoxing and cleansing, and this is fasting. So there's a lot of science and a lot of evidence for fasting to say that it has a lot of very beneficial effects on your cells and your body in general. Unfortunately, I hate fasting and I find it extremely uncomfortable and boring, but I do it occasionally. Now there's different ways that you can fast. There's the quite extreme end where you do water fasting, you're essentially just drinking water for a couple of number of days. I tried this once, I did this for 2 days and I hated it, and I will honestly never do it again. Then there's something called intermittent fasting, where you have time windows dedicating to eating and fasting, and this can be done on a day-by-day basis. So you have 2 days of fasting, 5 days of eating, or eating very low calories, or you could do it day to day, so you have 16 hours or however long you want to fast for of fasting and 8 hours of eating. What happens is when you're eating, your body has to process all the glucose and all the sugar, as well as all the other minerals and vitamins and all these other things that your body is absorbing. When you fast, you give your body and your digestive system a complete break, and what it ends up doing after a while, it goes into reverse and it starts to actually repair the DNA that's in your cells. So it's super interesting, and people who fast have actually been shown to live longer and these kind of things. So fasting, yes, it definitely is science backed up. Now when it comes to other different types of cleansing and that kind of thing, when I first started this journey a couple of months ago, I did sort of try a few of these juice cleanses, fruit and veg cleanses, and yeah, my skin does improve marginally, but if I'm totally honest, I didn't really see the point of them. I still don't really see the point of them. If it's something that, you know, you like to do, and I can imagine that it is quite good for you, because again, it's to do with the fact that you're not taking in any toxins and you're only eating good stuff, and that's obviously going to be good for your body. Some people report really good energy, all this kind of stuff, but for me, I don't know, I just find them expensive, they're time consuming, they make you a bit obsessive, and for me, I don't really buy into them, if I'm totally honest. But if you find that it does help for you, definitely do it. You know, every single person is very different and everybody's journey is going to be different. So this is just my experience. You can take it or leave it. So yeah, so this was my video about cleansing and detoxing. So like I said, it's my 4th video in my 5-part series. So if you want to check out my other videos, then please do. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will check back in with you guys very soon. Okay, bye bye.